I mean, I know you're good, Hermione, but no one's that good. How are you supposed to be in 3?
Ron says 9 o'clock divination, 9 o'clock Muggle studies, 9 o'clock arithmancy. But really, she could have gone to any one of those.
So first of all, I'm going to see if I can talk at a normal pace, because at 20 minutes till this episode, I realized I had 45 minutes worth of an episode to listen to. Put it on as fast as it would go,
Yes.
and my son kept coming in the room, and he'd start laughing. I'm like, well, I can understand it, but now it's making me feel rushed and everything.
Yeah.
So I have a question for you, Andrew.
Yes.
And I thought it might be good pre-show chatter to do like once a week or once every other week. You had mentioned on the last episode, and I've been needing to do it for a while, that you said, oh, I got about 25 pounds I could lose. What if we figure something out together and we hold each other accountable? We figure out a date to start eating better, exercising, and trying to lose weight and all that stuff, and we come on here and we give updates once a week about how it's going.
I'm in. I'm down. I started 3 days ago.
You did?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, you got a jump start on me. Okay. Do you mind saying what your weight is on the podcast, and then what your goal
I'm
weight would be?
I'm probably 213, 214 right now, somewhere around there.
How tall are you?
5'10".
5'10", okay. And what's your
5'10".
goal?
Legitimately 195
your
is
goal?
kind of where I want to be. So around 18, 19 pounds right
That's not too
now.
bad. That's pretty good.
Yeah, because I don't want to lose any muscle. So sometimes when people diet or they do nutrition incorrectly in weight loss, your body will start going after the muscle. So I can't do that. Not with, I adjust, I do full body adjusting, and then I coach gymnastics and just active. So I got to make sure that I, maintain muscle mass while just burning, white fat.
What does your weight loss journey, I guess, what does that look like? A lot of cardio, weights, a little bit of both?
I'm not a huge cardio guy. Cardio is great. I do more high intensity training, and muscle gain facilitates weight loss. But the simplest foundational thing, so I've got a scale that will do crude BMI measurement. So it'll do your resting caloric output.
I've got the one that you hold.
Yeah, so you can do that. So you kind of want to use that.
I gotta say, don't go off of BMI, because BMI is a bunch of BS. You want to go off.
Yeah,
body
BMI.
fat.
Yeah, the actual BMI is
I've
trash.
been
It's
5'8",
antiquated.
and I think the lowest I ever went in my adult life was 132, and then I realized I might have an eating disorder. So I turned that around real quick, but my BMI still said I was overweight. I was like 6% body fat, and I was like, there's no way I'm overweight right now. I was strong as a son of a man. I remember like getting the plate loaded chest press, and I could max that the whole bar, both sides, 45-pound weights.
Hey, there you go.
That's probably why I have shoulder problems, though. But for myself, let's say I'm about 225, give or take, and my goal, I think, to put me in a good spot would be about 200, but to be in a great spot, be about, I think, 180. I'm 5'8", so I think 180 is a good spot, but 200 is good. I can get down there in 3 or 4 months, but it's always that something happens and you're like, oh man, food.
Sure. No, it's, weight really isn't that important to me. Weight is a positive side effect of eating and living healthier. Right.
Yeah. It's all in correlation with trying to make my gut health better, really, because I have a lot of issues with that once in a while. And I know it's the way I eat. I'm almost 40. You got to change it. And it's like, I'm happy when I eat, but later I'm not. I don't feel happy. But at the moment,
yeah. Yeah,
Welcome
so
back.
I'm down with that. Oh, my fault. Yeah, I'm down with that. If you want to do something like that, we'll make it official. Do your BMI scale, and on Thursday we'll do like pre-show chatter.
We'll do a check-in.
We'll do the check-in. These are our
To the
BMI
start.
numbers, and we'll report on it and where we are and
So we'll just call
update.
Thursday the starting point then.
Yeah. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, that works. All right. Welcome back, witches, wizards, and muggles to Squip's Corner. I am Jeremiah.
And I'm Andrew, and today we're jumping into chapter 6, Talons and Tea Leaves in book 3, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. But before we go forward, let's hop back a little bit. Let's recap chapter 5, the Dementor. So we're on the Hogwarts Express. We get on the Hogwarts Express, Harry, Ron, and Hermione, they sit in a compartment where there's a stranger, a man sitting there who looks a little ragged, and he's asleep. But his briefcase says, R.J. Lupin.
How do you know who he is? How do you know who everybody is?
That's right. And so the Golden Trio surmise that he's going to be the new Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. So they go over a lot of stuff, but one of the biggest, the climax of the chapter is the train stops before it gets to Hogwarts, and power goes out, lights go out, and there's a Dementor, and a Dementor is one of the guards of Azkaban. So they are out looking for Sirius Black. So one of the Dementors gets on the train, goes to the compartment where Harry, Ron, Hermione, and Lupin are, and Harry reacts pretty strongly to the Dementor. It actually makes him pass out, and as he's passing out or passed out, he hears the scream of his mother before she was murdered and before he was attacked. So he wakes up, and come to find out, Lupin had cast a spell to get the Dementor out of there. And other people had reacted poorly as well, but nobody reacted.
Nobody else fainted.
Nobody else fainted. So then they get to the school. McGonagall wants to speak with Hermione and Harry, and they check on Harry to make sure he's okay. Yes, he's okay. And then McGonagall wanted to talk to Hermione about her school schedule, and then we jump into chapter 6.
Yeah, I really like the Hermione course schedule. Like, if you're not paying attention, you don't notice that it's a kind of a big topic, a big point to this book itself. Because
there's just little things.
Little hints of it. Yeah,
like we get a little hint at it twice in this chapter, and then kind of throughout the book. I think more so in the movie. Obviously, you've watched the movies more than I have, but we get little. I know we just get little things in the book. So we get a couple in this chapter. So let's dive in. So let's start with the old 7-word summary.
All right, I'm going to start out. Since I listened to the chapter in such a rush,
mere moments ago,
I did the best I could, and I think this fits. A death omen? That makes sense.
Sure. I like that. I like that one.
It's not the best, but it makes sense.
When it comes to, I think this is the second longest chapter of the book, where so many things happen. A 7-word summary is near impossible. So mine is, I'm going to go 90s theme on this one. Hermione versus Trelawney. Draco versus Buckbeak. Fight.
Yes.
Yes.
So what are your, before we get into the 7 chapter notables, what are your thoughts on divination? Would you take it, or would you be like, nah, pass?
Oh yeah, I would definitely take it. That seems like one of those. It would just be entertaining.
Yeah.
Right? It would be entertaining. And it depends. Like, would I take divination? Like, 13-year-old Andrew, right?
Okay.
If I have to choose, am I choosing ancient runes?
Yeah, it's difficult.
Am I choosing
it's difficult to put yourself back at that age, because I'm like, right now I'm with Hermione, but At 13?
I mean, yeah.
At 13?
But here's the thing. Trelawney has some correct predictions.
Yeah.
So if you know anything about Trelawney, obviously, if you're following along, we talk about the class Divination and Professor Trollani. If you've not read the books or watched the movies,
she plays a big part.
She plays a big part, and so she has. I don't know if it talks about it in the books. It might talk about it in the book.
I think,
but she has a great
she
grandmother.
Eventually is right twice, according to Dumbledore.
Yes, she has correct prophecies.
Yeah,
and her. I don't think it talks about this in the book. It's either her grandmother or her great whatever grandmother was a sightseer, a seer in I can't remember if it's Greek or whatever. So she does come from a lineage.
Yeah. Maybe we should explain what divination is. You got a good definition of it?
Yeah. So we go over it in the chapter. So they're reading tea leaves. They're trying to. They go over palmistry. They go over crystal balls. So you're thinking like psychics and different things that kind of we would call it. But she makes prophecies. She makes predictions whilst looking at through different mediums, like a crystal ball. When they look in the crystal ball, they have to kind of tune in. And the tea leaves, you have to be able to see. You see the students, day one, they practice tea leaves. And like, is that a cross? Oh, I thought that was a sheep. Oh, is that a bowler hat? They can't really. So she looks and she spins. She's like, oh, this is this, and this. So it's somebody that is predicting the future. That's really, divination.
Maybe 13-year-old me, because I'm still exploring. I'm still trying to figure things out. Maybe 13-year-old me would take it.
Yeah.
But 39, 40-year-old me, I'm like, no, pass.
Yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
No thanks.
Yeah.
So, 7 chapter notables. Just seven in this big old chapter. So, number 1, Hermione's class schedule. Number 2, Sybil Trelawney. Number 3, the Grimm. Number 4, Anime Guy, or as Jim Dale pronounced it, Animagi. 5, Arithmancy. 6, Buckbeak. 7, Malfoy's magical creature mishap.
Now, I have one more question, and I don't mean to keep derailing.
Oh, I think you set out this morning to derail this podcast.
Once the dramatized versions of this come out, are we no longer listening to Jim Dale, and we're only going to be listening to the dramatized versions?
I will be listening to the dramatized versions in full.
Yeah.
And depending on how that goes...
Oh, okay, yeah.
Depending on how that goes, will that be my staple going forward to be determined? So far, it's leaning yes. But I think the nostalgia of Jim Dale will be like, oh, I've not listened to Jim Dale in a few years. I'm going to listen to...
I'm curious if they make any slight changes to it. I don't see why they would, but I also understand if they added stuff or... So I'm curious. I'm sure it's just going to be straight from the book, but
well, what's interesting. So I listened to the audio, the Jim Dale audio, and I also read for the chapters, and there are discrepancies. Like I told you a couple chapters ago, the night bus. Jim Dale says he gives them gold. The book says he gives them silver. In the audio for this one, Draco Malfoy says, I'm dying. Then this happens. Something says something. He's like, look, I'm dying. And he doesn't say it that many times in the book. Oh, yeah. So I'm wondering if, there are different, Bloomsbury may have some slight things different. Scholastic might have some things different. It's just interesting that there are just little
could also be the way you read it, because sometimes you might, your Freudian slip, add something in there that's not supposed to be there, and you just kind of keep it because it worked.
Well, no, I read it along. I read them together. I listen and read at the same time.
Well, no. I mean, like, as Jim Dale is reading aloud, he might use a wrong word or put in an extra word on accident and just say, hey, we'll just run with it.
It's possible. I mean, it does nothing to disrupt the story. But, yeah. All right, so first paragraph of chapter 6, Talons and Tea Leaves. When Harry, Ron, and Hermione entered the Great Hall for breakfast the next day, the first thing they saw was Draco Malfoy, who seemed to be entertaining a large group of Slytherins with a very funny story. As they passed, Malfoy did a ridiculous impression of a swooning fit, and there was a roar of laughter.
A swooning fit, yeah. Yeah, Malfoy is really good at just being overdramatic about everything. So Hermione, of course, tells Harry to ignore Malfoy. It's one of those easier said than done type things.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
But the Slytherins are having a great time at Harry's expense. Harry learns that most everyone had bad experiences with the Dementor on the train, but as Harry points out, none of them passed out. And I always, what do you think there was more than one Dementor on the train? There had to have been. It only talks about the one.
It only talks about one. Everyone references one, so I think that one goes from compartment to compartment.
Yeah, it may have. They might have felt like the slight effects from it just passing through.
Yeah, because that part of the book was, Fred and George show up to give. So for some reason, Fred and George have the year 3 schedules, and they're like, "Oh, Malfoy's acting all strong today, but last night, on the train, he screamed and ran into our cabin, our compartment." Anyway,
yeah. So they sit down for breakfast and receive their class schedules, but Ron points out that there's something wrong with Chapter 1 notable, Hermione's class schedule. Hermione, they've messed up your schedule. Look, they've got you down for about 10 subjects a day. There isn't enough time.
I'll manage. I fixed it all with Professor McGonagall.
But look, see, this morning, 9 accent, man.
I love it.
9 o'clock divination, and underneath 9 o'clock Muggle studies, and look underneath that arithmancy. 9 o'clock. I mean, I know you're good, Hermione, but no one's that good. How are you supposed to be in 3 classes at once?
Don't be silly. Of course I won't be in 3 classes at once.
Well, then.
Pass the marmalade.
But.
Oh, Ron, what's it to you if my schedule's a bit full? I told you, I fixed it all with Professor McGonagall.
That's great.
Hagrid's entrance into the Great Hall at this point stops their conversation, and he tells the trio that they'll actually be in his first class ever, and it's going to be right after lunch. And he says he's been up since 5 o'clock that morning preparing for it, which is like, go you, Hagrid. Go you. Taking it seriously. So he goes on, they finish their breakfast, they head to their first lesson, Divination, which we've not had before. This is a new subject. They've never been to the North Tower where the class is located, so it's a little more difficult for them to find the classroom. So they're going up, and while they have explored the castle many times over the last 2 years, this is a place they've never been. So it says in the book they make it up their 7th stairwell. They're very much out of breath. And they see this painting. I almost made this a chapter notable, but there was just too much going on. And so they see this painting with, and the book says, a fat, dapple gray pony that had just ambled onto the grass and was grazing nonchalantly. A moment later, a short, squat knight in a suit of armor clanked into the picture after his pony. By the look of the grass stains on his metal knees, he had just fallen off. The knight was ready for combat and was a bit erratic. And when he saw him looking at them, but eventually he helped them find the North Tower. Once they found where they were going, the knight, proud of himself for helping, leaves them with, "Farewell, my comrades in arms. If ever you have need of noble heart and steely sinew, call upon Sir Cadogan."
Yeah, I was listening to that, and I was like, oh, that's right, Sir Cadogan.
Yeah, Sir Cadogan. Yes.
Oh, that guy's hilarious. I can't
Originally he was chapter notable number 2, but I had to go back and I had to take him out of chapter
I can't
notables.
wait to see what they do with him.
But he is book notable.
Yeah, he is. Yes. Following Sir Cadogan wasn't easy. They ran down hallways, up spiral staircases, and down more hallways until they heard voices above them and knew they were in the right place. But once they joined the classes, they noticed that there weren't any doors to the classroom, and Ron looks up and sees a circular trap door with a brass plaque on it. Chapter notable number 2, Sybil Trollani, divination teacher. And they had to climb up a ladder, right?
A ladder to get to divination.
Oh, that's just... I mean, okay, again, as a 13-year-old, awesome.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
My age, what? I gotta do what?
Everyone go up before me. I'm going to stand on the ladder as it ascends back up through the trapdoor. I'm not trying to climb this bad boy.
When I worked at Burger King, they're like in our little break room, there was a ladder, like one of the metal ones that you climb up and you go up to the roof. I'd go up to the roof sometimes, but that's when I was like really into the gym.
Yeah.
So a lot of the times on my break, I just start climbing the ladder with my arms only and just kind of do that for a little bit.
There you go. There you go.
So maybe I would have been okay with it. So no sooner did Harry ask how they were supposed to get up there, the trapdoor suddenly opened and a silvery ladder descended right onto Harry's feet. They all climbed the ladder and entered the classroom. He emerged into the strangest looking classroom he had ever seen. In fact, it didn't look like a classroom at all. More like a cross between someone's attic and an old-fashioned tea shop. At least 20 small circular tables were crammed inside of it, all surrounded by chintz armchairs and fat little poofs. Poofs?
Yeah, they're kind of like not beanbag chairs, but just like strong pillows that you would sit on that don't necessarily... Yeah.
Everything was lit with dim crimson light. The curtains at the windows were all closed, and the many lamps were draped with dark red scarves. It was stuffingly warm, and the fire that was burning under the crowded mantelpiece was giving off a heavy, sticky sort of perfume as it heated a large copper kettle. I would have not been okay with the heat, even as a little kid.
Oh my gosh.
I did not like the heat.
Yeah, I can't do... Yeah. It's a bit much.
I told you the story about the swamp cooler, so I've...
No good.
Apparently have been like that my whole life, so... The shelves, as a matter of fact, it was 35 degrees this morning, and my girlfriend's like, it's so cold outside. It's like, no, it's perfect.
This is lovely. This is autumn.
The shelves running around the circular walls were crammed with dusty-looking feathers, stubs of candles, many packs of tattered playing cards, countless silvery crystal balls, and a huge array of teacups.
But there was no professor there. They get up there. Obviously, they survey the classroom, but no professor. But then, all of a sudden, Professor Trollani appeared. And Harry thought that at first she looked like a large, glittering insect. Professor Trollani moved into the firelight, and they saw that she was very thin. Her large glasses magnified her eyes to several times their natural size. And she was draped in a gauzy, spangled shawl. Innumerable chains and beads hung around her spindly neck, and her arms and hands were encrusted with bangles and rings. And I think J.K. does just a great job. Anytime she wants to introduce a new character, all the way from Dumbledore to Snape to McGonagall to Trelawney, she paints such a great picture.
Yes, she does.
Yeah. And she's gotten good at it, right? So first book, Hagrid, garbage can lids and baby dolphin size, so those are kind of weird. But now she paints a picture of like, okay, we get this. Like, we get this. So they all sit down at their tables, and Professor Trollani goes on to introduce herself and her class divination. So here's kind of what she says. My name is Professor Trelawney. You may not have seen me before. I find that descending too often into the hustle and bustle of the main school clouds my inner eye. Nobody said anything to this extraordinary pronouncement. Professor Trollani delicately rearranged her shawl and continued. So, you have chosen to study divination, the most difficult of all magical arts. I must warn you at the outset that if you do not have the sight, there is very little I will be able to teach you. Books can take you only so far in this field. Many witches and wizards, talented though they are in the area of loud bangs and smells and sudden disappearings, are yet unable to penetrate the veiled mysteries of the future.
Yeah, so naturally, Hermione did not like the fact that book smarts would only get her so far in this class.
No, she didn't.
Did Ron actually said something about that, right? I can't remember.
Ron and Harry like look at her. Ron looks at her and they look over and they're like, ah, and they could see Hermione react to that. And they're just like, it's kind of like her being bad at wizard chess, right?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, this is okay. We might have an edge on Hermione in this one area.
In the one. Well, no, they got the edge on there when it comes to flying on brooms too. So
Harry, yes.
I would assume
And
Ron.
Ron's been flying more, so I would see that. Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah. I agree. We don't ever get anything that specifically says she's bad at flying.
She just doesn't like it. Yeah.
Yeah, she prefers not to.
Yeah. So Trelawney went on to make some prophecies. She asked Neville if his grandmother was well. I wouldn't be so sure.
Yeah, I wouldn't be so sure.
She told Pravati Patil to beware the red-haired man, to which she immediately looked suspiciously at Ron and scooted away from him.
Yes.
She said classes will be interrupted in the second term due to the flu and that she herself would lose her voice. Around Easter, one of our number will leave us forever. She then told Lavender Brown that the thing she was dreading would happen on Friday the 16th of October would actually happen. Which, I was like, man, she didn't even say anything. You just looked at her and was like, hey, the thing you're worried about is going to happen. What did you do that for? Just showing off.
What the heck?
She outlines their somewhat simple curriculum for the year. We will be covering the basic methods of divination this year. The first term will be devoted to the reading of the tea leaves. Next term, we shall progress to palmistry. In the second term, we shall progress to the crystal ball. If we have finished with fire omens, that is.
And I had to do it. I went to the calendar in 1993, which would have been third year. It is not Friday the 16th. It's Friday the 15th. And I checked 1992 and 1994 just in case I was off. But no.
Jeez.
No.
Come off it.
Yeah, she was a day off. That was pretty messed up.
Yeah.
So
maybe her calendar was wrong. We'll just go with
yeah, maybe. Yeah, leap years mess everything up. So then all the students separate. They get into pairs, and they have to start learning tea leaves. Day one, jump right into it. So they go through the whole process of getting the cups. Trelawney has to fill the cups. Then they sit back down. They drink the tea until the dregs remain, and then they have to use pages 5 and 6 of Unfogging the Future to try to interpret the tea leaves. She tells Neville, another prophecy, that once he's broken one of the pink cups, to please use the blue cups. Sure enough, Neville breaks a pink teacup.
Well, of course he would.
You put it out there.
Yeah, exactly. Now I get him nervous, and it's Neville.
Yeah, it's Neville.
Had you not said anything,
would it have happened?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So Ron then tried to read Harry's leaves, and Harry tried to read Ron's leaves, and they're having a good time. This, we don't know what this looks like. Oh, this means you're gonna have a windfall. This, all this stuff. So they're having fun reading the leaves, and a few times they had to stop themselves from laughing. But Trelawney did end up coming over to their table when Harry let out a snort of laughter that he couldn't suppress. So she picks up Harry's cup and she looks in. The falcon, my dear, you have a deadly enemy. To which Hermione's like, yeah, everyone knows that. And Trelawney shoots her a dirty look. Then the club, an attack. Dear, this is not a happy cup. The skull, danger in your path, my dear. She then turned the cup one more time, gasped, and screamed, my dear boy, my poor dear boy. No, It is kinder not to say. No, don't ask me.
What a dramatic intro to the class, which McGonagall highlights later. So
I mean, what are we, 10 minutes into class? 10 minutes into the first class of the first term of the third year. This is how we're starting out year 3.
To be honest, as a 13-year-old, I'm in this class right now listening.
It
This sounds
rocks.
awesome. Yeah.
This is great. This is great.
So obviously they asked what it was, and she looked at Harry.
Now, mind you, at this point, Hermione is like, oh, everybody knows that. Trelawney gives no...
She ignores Hermione every time.
Oh, yeah, but she doesn't give any signs that she acknowledges that it's Harry.
Yeah.
Right? She's in a darkened classroom, and she's got the vision of a mole. Right? So I don't think she gets that it's Harry. So her doing all of this, I think that she's being as authentic
with her,
as she thinks she is.
It's hard to tell.
It is hard to tell.
Is she like an airhead or not? You know?
Well, I mean, remember, this is the third year. Harry's never seen... None of these kids have ever seen her.
Yeah.
So it's not like she's down, 5 million points to Harry Potter. Oh, Harry's at the Quidditch game. You know, she's not doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
But anyway, just a theory. She could have known and was playing it up, as McGonagall would probably agree with.
Yeah. So she looked at Harry. My dear, you have chapter notable number 3. The Grim. Harry, along with a few of the students, didn't know what that was. The Grim, my dear, the Grim, cried Professor Trollani, who looked shocked that Harry hadn't understood. The giant spectral dog that haunts churchyards. My dear boy, it's an omen, the worst omen of death. Welcome to Divination.
Harry Potter.
Oh. Harry didn't like that. First, the dog in the shadows the night he left the Dursleys, then the dog on the cover of the Death Omens in Flourish and Blots, and now the stupid teacup is telling him, hey, bro, buckle up, Buttercup.
You buckle up, Buttercup.
Now, we have to mention this. Hermione wasn't really having any of this. She got up and looked at Harry's cup and says, I don't think it looks like a Grim. To which Trelawney responds. She actually responds to Hermione. She acknowledges Hermione's existence. Yes. You'll forgive me for saying so, my dear, but I perceive very little aura around you, very little receptivity to the renaissances of the future, which starts Hermione and Trelawney down a somewhat rocky relationship.
A little turbulent, yeah. A little turbulent. Yeah.
But it's nice to see Hermione with some attitude. Now, my question is Hermione really like, as she perceives to be all huffy and puffy towards this class, or is she overwhelmed because of all the classes she's taken?
Well, this is the first class. She hasn't had any other classes.
Is it the first class?
I mean, yeah, divination. Well, I mean, look, yeah, she could have gone to... Hold on, let's scroll back up. So what did the... Let's see. So
I thought this was one of the classes. One was like, where'd you come from?
Well, not in the book. Not in the book. That doesn't happen in this chapter.
Well, like I said, I listened to this chapter as fast as it would talk.
Yeah, because, I mean, honestly, so if we scroll back up, Ron says 9 o'clock divination, 9 o'clock Muggle studies, 9 o'clock arithmancy. But really, she could have gone to any one of those first.
Yeah.
So, from what
because she hasn't had a chance to be overwhelmed yet. At this point, you think she's still excited.
Yeah. So, because at this point, they leave breakfast and they all go to the tower.
Yeah.
So the lesson concludes pretty quickly after this kerfuffle with the teacup, and then Hermione and Trelawney kind of staring at each other. Trelawney leaves them with one last prophecy. She tells Neville that he's going to be late next time and that please do everything you can to try to catch up. They all leave. Gryffindors head to Transfiguration with Professor McGonagall. People kept glancing, shooting little looks at Harry while Professor McGonagall was talking about chapter notable number 4, Animagi, wizards that can transform into animals. That's a big play in this chapter and in the books moving forward. She even transformed herself into her infamous tabby cat, but nobody was really paying attention. She even mentions, not that it matters, but that usually gets a round of applause, So she's like, what is the matter with you guys? And Hermione told her that they had just come from their first divination class. To which Professor McGonagall promptly responds, of course. There is no need to say any more, Miss Granger. Tell me, which of you will be dying this year? Harry said it was him, and then McGonagall says, I see. Then you should know, Potter, that Sybil Trelawney has predicted the death of one student a year ever since she arrived at this school. None of them has died yet. Seeing death omens is her favorite way of greeting a new class. If it were not for the fact that I never speak ill of my colleagues, divination is one of the most imprecise branches of magic. I shall not conceal from you that I have very little patience with it. True seers are very rare, and Professor Trollani, you look in excellent health to me, Potter, so if you will excuse me if I don't let you off homework today, I assure you that if you die, you need not hand it in.
Yes, that was a great ending to that, McGonagall.
So,
yes.
McGonagall is the best. She's the best.
If you die.
Yeah, she does not conceal her feelings. Have a biscuit, Potter.
Yeah, she really gets into it with Dolores when we get there. Yeah, it's great. So Hermione laughed at this, and Harry immediately felt better. But Ron still felt worried. After all, Trelawney accurately predicted Neville would break the teacup, which I think she just made him nervous.
Very possible.
So after class, they all went to the Great Hall where Hermione was trying to get Ron to cheer up. Then Ron asked Harry if he's seen a big black dog, and Harry told him about the night he left the Dursleys. That didn't help Ron's worries, but Hermione said that it was probably just a stray. Then Ron said, Uncle Billy saw Grim, and then he died 24 hours later. To which Hermione said that it was a coincidence. You don't know what you're talking about, said Ron, starting to get angry. Grims scare the living daylights out of most wizards. And Hermione takes out her arithmetic textbook. She and Ron get into an argument about Grimm's divination, Trelawney, the Grimm in Harry's cup, and Ron went too far. You just don't like being bad at something for a change. Which,
Ron.
Hermione slams her book closed and yells, If being good at divination means I have to pretend to see death omens and a lump of tea leaves, I'm not sure I'll be studying it much longer. That lesson was absolute rubbish compared with my arithmetic class. Then she stormed away, to which Ron responds, chapter notable number 5, What's she talking about? She hasn't been to arithmetic yet. Yeah. Which is why I'm like, is she already getting overwhelmed?
Yeah, because according to her class schedule, she's been to 4 classes. Muggle studies, arithmetic, divination. And then 3 of them were at the same time, and then after that they go to Transfiguration. So she's, did twice as much as the boys.
I wonder how long their classes are, like an hour or 2?
You'd assume. You kind of assume they have breakfast 8 o'clock, and then you're at class at 8:30 to 10, and then maybe 10:45 to 12:15. It's one of those, either an hour or an hour and a half. So let's say they're an hour and a half a piece. Now you're looking at 6 hours of classes.
Yeah.
Even if they're 1 hour apiece, she's done 4 hours of classes. So, but they're like, you haven't had arithmetic yet. So it's like, what is she talking about? First time reading, you're like, what's she talking about? She had divination, transfiguration with Ron and Harry all morning, and it doesn't make any sense at this point. But after lunch, Harry, Ron, and Hermione head down to Care of Magical Creatures. Very exciting. Hagrid's first class. And on their way, they see 3 figures that they did not want to see. Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle. And they realize now they're sharing care of magical creatures with the Slytherins. Woo! Hagrid takes the class to a paddock and tells the students to open their books, to which Malfoy, hate that guy, asks how they're supposed to open the books. Then all the students pull their books out of their bags. Some are wrapped with belts, some were wrapped with ropes, some they were put in tight bags. One, they had clamps in it, the clamp it shut. And somehow this surprised Hagrid. He asked if anybody had been able to open their books, and nobody had been able to. "You've got to stroke them," said Hagrid, as though this was the most obvious thing in the world. "Look." He demonstrated with Hermione's book, and Malfoy responded, "Oh, how silly we've all been. We should have stroked them. Why didn't we guess?"
Well, Malfoy, I'm on your side with this one.
You know what? I think a lot of people were on his side. Even Harry, Ron, and Hermione were on his side, but they just, on principle, couldn't be.
Yeah.
So Hagrid's like, I thought they were funny. Oh, tremendously funny. Really witty, giving us books that try and rip our hands off.
Until absolutely nobody had a handle them, including the bookstore managers. Walking around with sticks and locking them in cages.
Yeah.
Jeez, come on, Hagrid. Harry was having none of that. He told Malfoy to shut up, as he could see that Hagrid was beginning to look downcast. Hagrid goes to get the magical creatures, and Malfoy starts talking trash, like always. "God, this place is going to the dogs," said Malfoy loudly. "That oaf teaching classes. My father will have a fit when I tell him." "Shut up, Malfoy," Harry repeated. "Careful, Potter. There's a Dementor behind you."
What a piece of garbage.
Malfoy's on one right now. He's on a roll.
He is. He's on a tear.
Yeah. But before he could finish, Hagrid came walking into the paddock with a dozen of the most bizarre creatures Harry had ever seen. They had the bodies, hind legs, and tails of horses, but the front legs, wings, and heads of what seemed to be giant eagles with cruel, steel-colored beaks and large, brilliantly orange eyes. The talons on their front legs were half a foot long and deadly looking. Each of the beasts had a thick leather collar around their neck, which was attached to a long chain, and the ends of all of these were held in the vast hands of Hagrid, who came jogging into the paddock behind the creatures. "Hippogriffs!" And he's just nice and happy, and
he's like, yeah. I got 12 hippogriffs. This class is going to be great.
And didn't he tell Hermione at one point that he had a really good first class plan and he couldn't tell them anything?
Very exciting.
Yeah,
very exciting. Well, he tells them hope you got your present in the letter to Harry. He's like, "You'll need this for one of your classes. I won't be saying any more about it here."
Yeah. I can see how he's excited.
The question is, why did he get up at 5? What was he preparing?
Yeah.
If he was just showing them hippogriffs.
Preparing the hippogriffs, I suppose. Had to
Preparing
round them
the
up.
hippogriffs.
Yeah. So after a moment of the class just looking at the creatures, Hagrid asked if anyone wanted to get a bit closer, to which no one moved. Harry, Ron, and Hermione stepped bravely forward. They wanted to make sure that Hagrid's class went well, his first class.
Those are good kids.
Yeah, no,
Good kids.
That's right of them, yeah.
Yeah. So Hagrid gives them very strict instruction. "Now, first thing you got to know about hippogriffs is they're proud. Easily offended hippogriffs are. Don't ever insult one, because it might be the last thing you do." Guess who wasn't listening to a word that Hagrid was saying? Malfoy.
And what, bro, this is your first class? Don't ever insult one because it might be the last thing you do? Hagrid.
Yeah.
Hagrid.
Seems pretty dangerous.
Yeah.
Seems pretty dangerous. So Hagrid goes on. You always wait for the hippogriff to make the first move. It's polite, see? You walk toward him, and you bow, and you wait. If he bows back, you're allowed to touch him. If he doesn't bow, then get away from him sharpish, because those talons hurt. Right. Who wants to go first? Again, no one moved. Not even Harry, Ron, and Hermione this time. And then Hagrid started to look downcast again, and Harry's like, "Oh, I do. I want to go." Harry. He steps forward, which immediately cheered up Hagrid, but reminded a few of the class about the tea leaves that they had all seen that morning. "Good man, Harry," roared Hagrid. "Right then, let's see how you get on with chapter notable number 6, Buckbeak." Harry needed to maintain eye contact with Buckbeak without blinking. Once eye contact is sustained, Harry then needed to bow. If everything goes right, then Buckbeak will bow back to Harry and he'll be able to approach and pet the hippogriff. After an uncomfortably long time, even Hagrid was becoming a little nervous. Buckbeak bowed, and Harry approached him and started patting his beak.
You know, I it might sound stupid, but I'm kind of afraid of horses. So to walk up to one of these things, I'm like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Like, I like horses, but I'm like, this thing is huge.
I don't trust horses.
Yeah, and if he decides to get mad, I'm going to get hurt.
Yeah. I don't trust horses.
Then Hagrid does the most Hagrid thing ever. Harry has just been introduced to this large and, quite frankly, dangerous, magical creature only a few moments ago, and has only patted his beak a few times, and he reluctantly was doing all of this.
Reluctantly, absolutely.
So, what does Hagrid think is the most logical step? "Right then, Harry," said Hagrid. "I reckon he might just let you ride him."
Hagrid.
"Yeah, climb up there, just behind the wing. Justin, mind you don't pull any of his feathers out. He won't like that." Harry climbs on Buckbeak, and Hagrid roars, "Go on, then!" and then slaps Buckbeak's hindquarters before Harry could figure out where he was supposed to hold on. And Buckbeak took off on the ground. Harry grabbed him from around the neck. He didn't prefer riding on the hippogriff especially, compared to the control and smoothness of the Nimbus 2000. Buckbeak flew him once around the paddock and then landed without incident. Emboldened by Harry's success, everyone else cheered and approached the hippogriffs, which they're not supposed to do.
But they all did their thing. They all did the bowing. They all did the thing. In the movies, am I remembering correctly,
Hagrid chucks him on Buckbeak.
And Buckbeak goes like over the lake, around, like he takes him on a ride. Yeah. So just as Hagrid had to do Hagrid things, Malfoy had to do Malfoy things. Malfoy, Crabbe, and Goyle were with Buckbeak. Malfoy bowed to Buckbeak. Buckbeak bowed back, and Malfoy was patting his beak with a disdainful look on his face. "Well, this is very easy. I knew it must have been if Potter could do it. I bet you're not dangerous at all, are you? Are you, you great, ugly brute?" Remember that time that Hagrid was explaining about hippogriffs
Malfoy
10 minutes ago?
He doesn't remember.
Malfoy wasn't listening. Malfoy didn't remember because Malfoy wasn't listening. Yeah, hippogriffs are very proud, meaning they don't like to be insulted, which I believe were in the instructions.
Yeah.
And then it happened. Chapter notable number 7. Buckbeak's razor-sharp talon met in Malfoy's arm. Malfoy screamed and fell to the ground. I'm dying! Look at me! It's killed me!" Hagrid picked up Malfoy and ran him to the hospital wing. The rest of the class walked up to the castle. Slytherins thinking Malfoy was the victim and that Hagrid should be fired, while the Gryffindors blamed Draco for being at fault. He didn't pay attention. He insulted the creature that you're not supposed to insult.
I mean, it's very, very like Draco. I mean,
It's like Draco.
With the mandrakes, he started like poking them and stuff, and he's that kid. You're like, "Don't do that," and he's like, "Oh yeah, let me see what happens if I do it."
Yeah.
So either way, they make it back to the castle, and the Golden Trio make it back up to the Gryffindor common room. At dinner, Hagrid wasn't at the staff table in the Great Hall. That evening, it was difficult to focus on homework with all that happened. They looked out the window and saw that there was light on in Hagrid's hut. They made their way down to his cabin, which yeah.
They may or may not have been allowed to do.
Yeah.
It's a gray area.
Yeah, it seems like they have more freedom at night, honestly. I mean, they got detention at night and always going to Hagrid's at night.
Do whatever you want to at night.
So Hagrid, he was drunk, and Fang was resting his head on Hagrid's lap. Hagrid just knew he was going to be fired. He tells him that Madame Pomfrey mended Draco, but that he keeps moaning and complaining that it still hurts. And I like it in the movies. Draco's laying there. Draco, you're fine. I told you can leave. So they tell Hagrid that they'll tell Dumbledore what really happened. And he pulled them all into a bone-crushing hug.
Oh, you do not want to get hugged by drunk Hagrid.
No, you don't really want to get hugged by Hagrid in general. He just forgets how strong he is. Especially drunk. Yeah.
Not a chance.
No. Hagrid then walked out and plunged his head into a bucket of water in an effort to sober up, which somehow it worked.
Magic. Magic.
Yeah, I don't drink, so I don't know if that.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
So once sober, Hagrid yells at them for letting Harry walk around outside while it's dark, and he marches him back up to the school. Doesn't he dip his head in the bucket and then look up and go, Harry, what are you doing out here?
What are you doing out here? Well, right. How could you let him walk out here?
It's like, well, you were just talking to him.
Hagrid.
Oh.
My guy.
This is a good chapter. So far, these chapters
This was a great chapter.
All been great. We introduced another magical creature, but we introduced him in a way that we didn't just introduce him for the sake of introducing him. It was more like, Hagrid, what are you thinking? And we kind of explained their traits, their qualities, and then we have Malfoy be a Malfoy. Yeah, no, and just the continuation of Hermione's classes now. That's just a great little thing to this book, little by little. Yeah. Great job.
Love it. Yeah, a lot happens. We get so many different seeds planted. She talks about Animagi just briefly.
Yeah.
Right? Just briefly, which is cool.
Did she mentioned that can't be the first time that she's transformed from a cat into a person. Or is it?
In the books, no, because it happens in the very first book because she's sitting outside number 4 Privet Drive.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in front of the students.
Now, in the movie, she did it at the very first Transfiguration class.
Yeah, perhaps
because Harry and Ron
into a pocket watch, and maybe one of you could be on time.
But she usually does that in the third year because that's when they talk about, what an animagus is. So yeah. So planting the seed. Buckbeak's a big part of the books. We see him. We see him. So a lot of things that she plants the seeds here and grows. This injury hangs around for several chapters.
I know you feel bad for Hagrid because he's like, knowing Hagrid, he's trying his hardest and he was super excited. But then does he really believe Harry about half the stuff that he says about Draco? So right now he's seeing it firsthand and he's like, oh, Okay, next time I see Draco's name on my list, I'm gonna know. Well, this might not be very fun.
And they don't really they don't get into much of the First Wizarding War. They don't get into much of the Order of the Phoenix. But Hagrid knows the Malfoys.
Yeah.
Right? He knows they're dirty. So.
Yeah. Yep. He should have expected it, and I think later on, Hermione and them kind of go, Hagrid, maybe you should pull it back a little bit. So yeah. So thank you for joining us, everybody. Make sure to like, follow, share to all the Potter heads out there. And if it lets you leave a comment or a rating, go ahead and do so, because it would help us out greatly. We love to read everybody's comments and see what you guys think about the podcast, or if you want to be on it. So next time, we're going to be covering Chapter 7, The Bogart and the Wardrobe. Andrew, sign us out.
Knox.
That was it. That's the sign out right there. That's it. I can't do better than that. Lights out, baby. Yeah, that was awesome timing.
Squib's Corner is hosted by Jeremiah Lobot and co-host by Andrew Beecham. We would love to hear from you, so drop us a rate and review, to inquire about being a guest and for questions and comments, or to just give us your Harry Potter story. Email us at squibscorner@gmail.com. To watch Harry Potter merch unboxings, follow my YouTube, @KillPotterGuy. Lastly, you can leave us a voice memo and follow us on Instagram at Squibs Corner Podcast.